the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it! Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power! Fight the power! Fight the power!
Hey Zoe, I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, man, I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light, see the light.
Now we're asking what it is that we are seeking. You understand? If you ask yourself, what is it you're seeking? Is it money? Is it security? Is it to be free from fear so that you can have everlasting pleasure? Is it that you are seeking to be free from the burden of sorrow? Not only your burden, but the world's burden of sorrow. Or are you seeking, apart from all the religious nonsense, or are you seeking something which is timeless? Something that thought has not touched at all. You understand? Something essentially original.
Essentially original.
Something that is absolutely incorruptible.
Incorruptible.
So
My.
find out for yourself as a human being, like the rest of the other human beings in the world, what is it one is longing, seeking, hungering after? If one is wanting experience, because one has had sensory experiences, sexual experiences, the experiences of various kinds, and when he said, that's enough, I've had all those, but I want some other cup. You follow? Some more. Is that what you're seeking? Some experience which...
Man, oh Manischewitz, it's Monday. You already know Krishnamurti is playing no games, and he's taking no prisoners. You already know what it is. You already know what it's about. So you already know what I have to do here. I have to curate this conversation. He's talking about this longing and this craving and this seeking, right? This incessant seeking. And as we've outlined on many other episodes of The Voice of Reason here at KBLA Talk 1580, many of us have gotten the core principle of relationship wrong. And we also talk about attachment theory. Many of us have an insecure attachment style. This seeking comes in part from an insecure attachment style. Krishnamurti outlined it so eloquently when he talked about how we seek the incorruptible. I'm here to tell you, you cannot find the incorruptible in a person, in another person. You can cultivate this incorruptible character within yourself, but it does not mean you are free from flaw. This is a lifelong process, right? This is what the ancient gurus and shamans and mystics and sadhus of the Far East would talk about with regard to meditation and states of consciousness. And fortunately for us, modern day psychology is starting to incorporate mindfulness practices to be able to touch that which is incorruptible within your spirit. You were corrupted in childhood. Many of us were. Least of all, me. Yes. Listen, if we're not having this conversation together, it doesn't matter. Just because it's coming from me doesn't mean that I represent the information. I'm just as broken and as flawed as you are. The speaker, as Krishnamurti would say, is not important. We have to work this out together. What are we working out? Why do we chase in intimate relationships? Tonight's topic, no chaser. Chasing shadows, the psychological masochism of seeking in others what we fear to find within ourselves. Why do you chase? Why do you overperform in order to get their attention? Is this what you did with your parent in childhood? I'm here to ask the tough questions. The number to dial, 1-800-920-1580. Why chasing love is self-inflicted emotional harm. True or false? Tonight's topic unravels the runner-chaser dynamic as a cycle of self-sabotage rooted in attachment wounds. It explores how chasing unavailable partners perpetuates emotional masochism disguised as romantic longing. Don't act like there hasn't been a moment where you would have done anything for anybody. Most of our music is written from this runner-chaser dynamic. When we listen to this R&B love, I'll do anything for you. I can't live without you. You're the love of my life, and I don't know what I'd... Do you understand? What'd you say, Andy? Andy got it. New edition, don't... Yeah. Tonight's topic will explore how chasing unavailable partners perpetuates emotional masochism disguised as romantic longing. Is your relentless pursuit of love a subconscious strategy to avoid healing your own brokenness? Intensity or intimacy? How we confuse emotional chaos for connection. This controversial angle highlights how anxiously attached individuals mistake volatility and rejection for deep connection. Have we romanticized emotional suffering as a substitute for true intimacy? I'm here to tell you, intimacy is not getting what you want. It's cultivating what you're supposed to be. And sometimes to cultivate what you're supposed to be means you have to go through the crucible of life. Do you understand? Why unrequited love feels like a drug. Anything that is a pattern becomes an opiate, right? Anything that is familiar, anything that is the safety net becomes an opiate, becomes highly addictive, even if it's toxic. This is why so many people run back to the toxic people or the toxic pattern, regardless of the person that embodies it. They run back to it because it's somehow familiar. Tonight's topic will delve into the neuroscience of unreciprocated love, revealing how dopamine and intermittent reinforcement keeps us addicted to unavailable partners. I know people don't want to hear it, but we must delve deeper. Are you addicted to the high of rejection disguised as love? Why does breadcrumbing work on you? The runner's power. How avoidant partners control the game without even trying. True or false? From this perspective, it exposes how avoidantly attached individuals unconsciously manipulate the dynamic, leaving the chaser locked in a futile pursuit. Are you chasing someone who finds power in withholding the love you crave? How many of you have been caught out there chasing somebody, trying to get their attention, trying to prove your love, trying to prove that you are worthy? I've been there before. It's hell. Yes, I've been there before. You know? It's hell. And it's ugly. Do you understand? Is unrequited love narcissistic? Loving the fantasy instead of the person. This incendiary perspective challenges the notion of noble love, exposing unrequited affection as an act of projection and self-delusion. Are you truly in love with someone, or with the idea of saving yourself through them? Chasing as self-rejection. How the pursuit of another masks the fear of self. 1-800-920-1580. This topic will explore how chasing a partner externalizes inner rejection, reflecting a fear of confronting one's own emotional voids. Are you chasing love to avoid the terrifying intimacy of meeting yourself? Scarcity mindset in love. Why we desire the unattainable. It's going to get deep tonight. And don't be afraid to call in. The number to dial is 1-800-920-1580. Get to your phone lines. The voice of reason is ready to cook. I can't wait to talk to you tonight. You already know this is a non-judgmental space, and your voice is more important than my own. When we come forward, trust me, we have a lot to talk about.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away, so the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You say you never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, know it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
You get into some of the barriers to why we are unable to achieve true intimacy.
I mean, I can say for me, that has been a thing. You know, we've talked about this in our own life and in our relationship. And for me, I was so used to some kind of blowback from being vulnerable. If I put myself out there, this is going to come back. This is going to be the result. So I just not vulnerable. You know, I just choose to not just to be quiet about it and not share for fear of shame.
And we're going to get to that shame. I think we find some of the barriers to why, you know, I got all kind of comments, all kind of correspondences. Like some person was like, yo, if you're dating a man and he can't be vulnerable, if he's not exuding vulnerability, then find a man who will. I'm like, yo, that's not how that works.
It sounds good.
Yo, let's be clear. Like, the term is cultivating nakedness.
Cultivating, keyword.
Why? Because nakedness, vulnerability, intimacy does not come prepackaged.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
Ramen noodles. Convenient.
Very.
Listen, when you gonna stop running? Relationships are where you discover you. And there are parts of you that you haven't fully accepted. So when the relationship starts to reveal more and more of the work you need to do on yourself, do you just pack up because the relationship becomes burdensome? Or do you get disenchanted when you finally get what you've been chasing because it didn't turn out to be all that it was cracked up to be? Breaking the runner-chaser cycle. The radical power of non-attachment. Of course, this breaks into the Buddhist teachings on attachment as a source of suffering, offering practical tools for disrupting the toxic cycle of pursuit and rejection. What if your liberation in love begins by letting go of the chase altogether? According to John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth and a myriad of others, we become chasers when we develop a particular type of attachment style. That one being anxious preoccupied. The anxious preoccupied is when you had an intermittent interaction with a primary caregiver. So in order to get their attention, you started to people please and perform and show up in a way that was almost like genuflecting, right? I'm doing everything to let you know that I'm worthy. We call it a worthiness wound, or at least I call it that. Do you have a worthiness wound, and does it cause you to perform in relationship to try to secure the security that you need? Was the first breadcrumber you ever met a parent? Did they get you addicted to the cycle of chasing others because you chased them? That's what people pleasing is. If you're people pleasing a parent, woo, you know you're going to people please a partner. That is something that has to be healed. Why? Relationships act as a mirror where one discovers themselves. Once you see that you're a street performer for love, you have to take ownership of that. You have to step in and say, no, this isn't the right way to interact, to relate. I know it's incendiary, but this angle views the runner-chaser relationship as a spiritual reenactment of unresolved karmic patterns. Where there is a pattern, there will be an addiction. An attachment style is a type of psychological opioid. We get addicted to the known, even if the known is toxic. Of the 4 attachment styles, 3 of them are insecure. Everybody can't be securely attached. So that means the majority of people you may meet will be insecurely attached and thus have this latent addiction within them. Yes, I'm calling it an addiction. In much the same way as Dr. Ross Rosenberg calls codependence a type of addiction. He has relabeled it and called it self-love deficient, SLDD, self-love deficient disorder. And who is the self-love deficient addicted to? They're addicted to narcissists, and narcissists are subsequently addicted to SLDs. You know, I know it's tough. Are you trapped in a karmic loop, mistaking suffering for growth in relationship? No, suffering is not growth in relationship. Or maybe it's better said, endless suffering is not growth. But here's the problem with most people. You try to put a timeline on how long you should suffer. That's why you hear people say, I'm tired of lessons. I'm tired of this. I'm tired. Listen, at the end of the day, if you're not doing the work, you prolong the process. Do you understand? If you're not doing the work, you prolong the process. And so because you're tired of experiencing the same thing and you haven't found the answer in you because nobody told you you were the answer, you keep looking for somebody to come along. And when somebody comes along that you attach to, if you haven't done the healing necessary to be able to say, oh, this clinging, this longing, this thirsting for this particular person is something that happened to me in childhood, you're going to chase them too. And Lord forbid they find out that that's their power over you. No chaser. The masochism of pursuing love outside of ourselves. What if the relentless pursuit of love and connection isn't a noble act, but a self-inflicted wound? Beneath this chase lies an incendiary truth. We are not seeking another. We are fleeing from ourselves. This radical exploration dismantles the runner-chaser dynamic, exposing how attachment wounds, unresolved childhood trauma, and emotional scarcity drive a toxic fixation on the unattainable. Why do we mistake intensity for intimacy? And why do we chase those who mirror our deepest fears of rejection and abandonment? This deeply controversial analysis reveals the chase as a form of self-harm disguised as longing, perpetuating cycles of emotional masochism. Why did you go back to them? Because that's all they know. Why would you go back? Because it's familiar. By confronting the illusion that love exists outside of ourselves, this inquiry dares us to ask, what if everything we're chasing is already within us? For the brave, the answer isn't just unsettling, it's transformative. How does the anxious, preoccupied attachment style fuel the relentless pursuit of unreciprocated love? Could the chaser-runner dynamic stem from early attachment injuries that unconsciously replicate caregiver-child dynamics? When I come forward, the voice of reason is going to keep cooking it up because we got callers on the line and they want to talk about it, and so do I.
Always the best in town. Got to keep on dancing, keep on dancing. Got to keep on dancing, keep on dancing.
He's on fire tonight. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Tyreek Wynn with 4 things you should know with BIN News. Southern California's first major rainfall arrived over the weekend, and wet weather is expected to continue throughout the day. As a result, Los Angeles County Public Works is preparing for possible mudslides in areas scorched by the recent wildfires. Tech stocks are plunging on Wall Street. Concerns over the Chinese startup DeepSeek sparked a sell-off with shares of Nvidia, Microsoft, and other AI-linked companies down sharply. Immigration raids are taking place in major cities around the country. The Trump administration has launched a social media thread showcasing what it calls the worst criminals arrested by immigration and customs enforcement. The NFL's biggest game of the season features a pair of familiar faces. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles will be looking for revenge against quarterback Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in a Super Bowl 57 rematch. I'm Tyreek Wynn on the Black Information Network, your home for Black News First.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. Uh-oh. She's looking at the cigarettes, but she just grabs the gum off the counter. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org.
They can do anything they want to us. We might not be back. I might be in jail. I might be anywhere. But when I leave, you can remember I said with the last words on my lips, I am a revolutionary.
On On Saturday, February 22nd, you are invited to A Night with the Panthers, a special fundraiser dedicated to supporting Black Panther veterans who now require assistance with essential needs such as medicine, food, and housing. These Black Panther veterans championed human rights, fed the hungry, educated the community, and stood as powerful symbols of resistance and resilience. Despite their incredible sacrifices, loving and serving the people did not come with retirement plans or financial security. So, now it's our time to honor their legacy and ensure that they are cared for with the dignity they deserve. You can help by attending and supporting A Night with the Panthers, Saturday, February 22nd, 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Project 43 Team Post Center, 6841 Crenshaw Boulevard, Los Angeles. For more information, contact Black Panther Party Breakfast at gmail.com or call 707-554-2784. That's Black Panther Party Breakfast at gmail.com or call 707-554-2784. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project. Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs.
Picking up! Oscar! As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors. Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Always and forever, each moment with you is just like a dream to me that somehow came true. And I know tomorrow will still be the same, 'cause we've got a life of love that won't ever change. And every day, love me your own special way. Melt all my heart away with a smile.
You talk about young adulthood, and here is where you're introducing some more interesting mechanisms: intimacy versus isolation. Now, presumably you're saying then, as the individual grows beyond his beginnings of dealing with the identity problem, then he now can move beyond that to this matter of intimacy versus isolation, meaning, in a sense, relationships with others. Isn't this what you're suggesting then?
Chris, I mean much more. I mean intimate relationships.
Intimate relationships, that's what I mean.
And by that I mean friendship,
yes,
love, sexual intimacy, marriage, and I mean psychologically even a little more than that, and which one really can understand only if one if one has dealt psychiatrically with disturbances of this. Namely, that intimacy is really the ability to fuse your identity with somebody else's without fear that you're going to lose something yourself. That's why it is the stage which makes marriage possible, and why marriage doesn't work if that has not developed.
Would this be consistent with the notion that many of our sociologist colleagues have suggested from their research that characteristically very early marriages, that is in early age groups, are less likely to succeed than marriages a little age
I
later?
think that is one of the main reasons. Because some young people marry to find their identity by marrying, or find their identity in somebody else, which you cannot do. To be really intimate, you have to be able to have a very firm identity already.
Do you see? We've gotten relationships wrong. We think relationships are a safe place for our wounds. And let me just say, yes, they're supposed to be safe, but how can they be safe if they're being revealed? One thing a wound does not want is to be revealed. Once you reveal it, now it's exposed. Do you understand? Wounds don't want to be exposed. They want to be nurtured for. They want to be cared for. They want you to come in and, no. This is the status quo. This is how I run my heart. Do you see? Relationships are really designed spiritually for healing. They're not designed for concealing. As the first clip talked about when he says, when you're in a relationship, it's time to get nude. You heard what this clip just elucidated when he said, what? He said, look, in order to be intimate, that's two people merging together with no fear of losing anything. Right? The avoidant types, whether they're dismissive or fearful avoidant, according to the attachment theory model, they value independence because they learned a long time ago that they got to take care of themselves because their parents weren't always emotionally attuned or tried to push down their emotions or suppress their emotions. You see? So when they get into a relationship with somebody that's trying to give them something their parents didn't, they say, no. That's not, I'm not with that. Nah. I can do it myself. I got it. I got this. I don't need that. You're smothering me. This is too much. Do you see? So you hear people say this all the time, but they don't correlate it. They say, oh, relationships are a mirror, but they don't understand how the attachment styles also mirror each other. Right? Avoidant types tend to attract the chaser type. The avoidant type is the runner type. Whether it's fearful, i.e. disorganized, or dismissive. Now, with the fearful, i.e. disorganized attachment style, they have both anxious and avoidant. So in one moment, they're like, yes, yes, yes. And another moment, they're like, no, no, no. So they have a pendulum swing from wound to wound. Now, if you have just a straight up dismissive avoidant type, nah. This is, once it gets intimate, that's when they get triggered. Once it gets real, where I got to get nude, where I have to expose how I really feel, where I got to get close, I got to get intimate, I got to get connected, I got to stay connected, I got to be invested. No, that's too much. This is encroaching upon my independence. Do anxiously attached individuals confuse intensity with intimacy? Are unreciprocated relationships a form of attachment addiction driven by the brain's reward system? Can chasing someone who triggers avoidant patterns ever be seen as a healing attempt, or is it purely self-destructive? Why do humans have a tendency to idolize those who do not reciprocate their feelings? Is unrequited love inherently narcissistic, as it often involves loving a version of the person rather than their authentic self? Come on, 1-800-920-1580. Why do individuals persist in loving someone who has made it clear that they are unavailable emotionally and or physically? Could the allure of unrequited love be rooted in the illusion of control over an uncontrollable outcome? What does the pain of unrequited love reveal about the chaser's unmet emotional needs? These are heavy questions. What are we to do about it? Call in if you've chased somebody to the ends of the world only to be let down once you caught up to them. Right? I want to know. I want to know, have you been let down after chasing and chasing and chasing and chasing? Very interesting stuff. We got callers on the line. What we're going to do, we're going to go forward. And when we come full circle, we got Mountain View, Hawaii. We got Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And we have Houston, Texas. This is about to get interesting real quick. Let's get it.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Eyes Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Can I touch this? Where does sand come from? Is this tree good for climbing? What happens if I mix these two things together? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Storing your guns securely is the best way to prevent family fire, including unintentional shootings. For more information on safe gun storage and ways to keep your family safe, visit endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org.
What do we keep in the attic? What's this thing called? Can I ride my bike backwards?
Like I said, kids are curious. It's up to us to keep them safe. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
You say you never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, no, it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
In our modern world, we're living one of the greatest paradoxes of human existence. Every day, I watch thousands of people chase relationships, desperately seeking that missing piece they believe will make them whole. You see, we've been programmed to believe that loneliness is a disease and companionship is the cure. But what if I told you that the exact opposite is true? Here's what fascinates me about the human brain and consciousness. When you're constantly surrounded by others, always connected, always validated by external sources, your brain actually operates in its most limited state. You become quite literally addicted to other people's energy. And that's not just philosophy, that's pure neuroscience. Let me share something extraordinary that happened in our research. We had this participant, let's call her Maria. For 20 years, she jumped from relationship to relationship, never spending more than a few months single. I can't be alone, she told us. I just can't handle the silence. You see, Maria's brain had become hardwired to seek external validation. Her neural pathways were literally shaped by dependency. But here's where it gets interesting. When we started measuring her brain activity during our meditation workshops, something remarkable happened. After just 3 weeks of practicing conscious solitude, not loneliness, but intentional aware solitude, her brain waves changed dramatically. The constant beta wave activity, that chattering, anxious frequency, began.
Conscious solitude. You know what's really beautiful about that? It reminds me of the Tibetan monks who go into the mountains to detach, disconnect, and become non-attached to the world, right? Non-attachment. That's a little different than detachment. Detachment is, I'm going to ignore it, I don't care. Non-attachment is, I don't care what happens. This is a spiritual practice. Now, guess what? You can do it the Buddhist monk way, or you could do it the hard way. Remember the movie I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker? Now, listen, you could take the flight of stairs, or you could take the window. Guess what's the window in this scenario? Relationships are the window. You say, why, Zoe? Because relationships are inherently addictive. Why? Because of the way our central nervous system is set up and the neuroscience, as he just explained. Buddha said attachment leads to suffering. You're born with an attachment style. Most of us have an insecure attachment style. Oh, throw in Carl Jung's, people will do anything no matter how absurd it is to avoid looking at themselves. So relationships, therefore, must be addictive in order for you to stay rooted in the lesson. If you could just flirt away from a relationship, let me get away from here. If you could just leave, you would never see the image of yourself. The answer in this scenario is chasing the question, right? The runner is the question. The chaser is the answer. In order for them to stop chasing, they must discover the answer within themselves. And for the runner, in order for them to stop running from intimacy, which they inevitably have to open themselves up and allow some pain and some fire in order to truly love and be intimate, the answer is in them as well. The runner-chaser dynamic emerges as a profound interplay between two polarized roles. One partner running from intimacy while the other partner relentlessly pursues it. Beneath this cyclical dance lies this mosaic woven from attachment wounds, intergenerational trauma, and existential fears of vulnerability. There is no perfect partner. You're gonna be hurt. But do you hurt yourself when you chase those who run from your love? Anxiously attached people? Where are you going? I had a girl tell me that every time I got up. Where are you going? Anxious side. But then when I got close, no, that's too much. Fearful side. No, you're too close. I don't want that. But then when I move away, where are you going? That's a classic example of fearful avoidant. Want you close, but when you get close, don't want you close. The dismissive avoidant doesn't want to have the conversation. Doesn't want to speak. Because any real deep inquiry into where are we? What is this about? What do you want to do? Do you have capacity to deal with this? Is recontextualized as conflict. Are you ready? Are you a runner or a chaser? We got callers on the line. Let's get them in here now. Not Willie. Attila from Houston, Texas. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
What in the tarnation? I was not expecting that.
What happened?
I thought I was going to be third. I don't know what I was thinking. It's all good.
You want time? just let me know.
No,
I'll go to Willie.
No, I'm ready to just get out the way because as somebody who's played both sides of the game, it's disorienting. I ain't gonna cap. Runner and chaser.
All right. Go ahead.
And imagine doing it within the same relationship.
Oh my God! In the name of Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, don't.
I was a mess. Let me go ahead and tell myself.
There we go.
I started out avoidant, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I want to get some kind of like key indicators in terms of like whether or not you might be dealing with an avoidant partner. And this is something I didn't obviously know I was doing, but I think back on it and I'm like, dang, we like to avoid anything serious. And so like at the beginning of a relationship, it's cool, right? Mm-hmm. And so what's interesting is that time is a very good tool in kind of determining whether or not you're dealing with somebody who's going to want more from you or just allow things to kind of go how they want to go, right? Mm-hmm. And so what I found myself doing was keeping time. And this sounds weird, but I would literally like I could almost kind of pinpoint when I knew this person was going to be anxious. Like when I was like, he's going to ask me about X, Y, Z. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And like, so you kind of like mentally and emotionally prepare yourself to have an answer that is going to basically stray away from anything that is too serious, right? Mm-hmm. So there's that. The other part of it, I would say, is if you do find yourself like catching feelings and you're in an avoidant state, I find that for me, that's when I tended to act out like irrationally. Like I would like purposely remove myself from the situation quick. Ooh. Like, so I can recognize that in other people, right? And I'm like, oh, I know what they're doing. Like I've been there. Mm-hmm. So that's just two things, I think, in terms of the avoidance side. In terms of in moments where I've been anxious, I would say it's really important to always keep something close to you that reminds you of who you are outside of that dynamic. And I'm thankful for the avoidance in that sense, because for me, that was the thing that let me know you have something to come back to. You're not totally enmeshed in this dynamic. I feel for people who only deal with the anxious side, because you do find yourself kind of like changing your life, changing the way you look, what you like, whatever, because you're kind of enmeshing into this dynamic and you do it unconsciously. So that's one for anxious people. I would say, and I'm sure you can speak to this too. The second thing, I think, would more so be the conscious need to try and like fix things all the time, because that is seen as a medal of valor for someone who's anxious, right? Yes. Like you're seen as the person who's trying to fix it. So you're never the bad guy. The problem with that though is you're being very bad to yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
So
and no, this is deep. Wait, before you go even further, because that's such a big piece. Fixing something that is not your responsibility in a lot of ways is self-sabotage.
It's self-harm.
Yes.
If you want to be technical.
Yeah, you can't I'm a
former self-harmer, so it makes sense for me. Like,
wait, stay with me, Attila. Don't leave. When we come forward, man, Attila from Houston, Texas is on complete fire. If you want to join this bonfire, all you got to do is call me, 1-800-920-1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Tyreek Wynn with 4 things you should know with BIN News. Southern California's first major rainfall arrived over the weekend, and wet weather is expected to continue throughout the day. As a result, Los Angeles County Public Works is preparing for possible